Hey, it is Saturday, June the 20th. I am teaching a live class today. This will be a Pilates class. Sorry that I'm like squatting. It's a weird height to be because I'm not laying down yet. My name is Rachel. I am a Pilates and yoga teacher based in Toronto, and we've got some stuff going on this weekend that is pretty important to me, at least. And so I'm going to stay in my lane as a movement teacher and do my thing and speak to that. So I'm going to teach you Pilates, but if you take this class and you enjoy it and you're moved to contribute monetarily, I'll ask you to direct that towards the Afro-Indigenous Rising organization. They've got a lot going on this weekend, but they're set up right now at Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto, and they need a little bit of help in terms of like some resources. So that might be like water, food, snacks, things to keep people feeling good when they're in this heat outside. So they have a GoFundMe set up that I will contribute to, and you can do it directly to them. It's a little easier so that way you go right to the source if you feel like it. So the link to that is in my stories. After this, I'll also switch it into my bio too. I tried to do a link tree the other day and it was like a little bit of a failure, but I'll try harder right now. So we'll do Pilates, but yeah, in support of Afro and Indigenous folks who are fighting for their voices to be heard. So let's listen. So Pilates, if you've got a little blanket or towel, have that available. This will be a little longer than the classes we've done in the past, so hunker down. Feel free to do as much or as little as you want. Where'd my towel go? Here it is. I was organized. All right, so have this off to the side if you're using that. There also might be opportune times if you want to use a set of little weights, feel free to have that. But we'll start laying on one side. For those of you who came to quote-unquote 100 Club this morning, this will be a repeat of what you did. So maybe come back a different day and do it. Lay down on one side. I'm going to use my blanket like a little pillow. Have your arms stretched out forward from the chest. And reach the top arm overhead. Let a big circle happen. My head fell off my blanket, that's okay. As your arm turns open the chest. Maybe look down the arm and then keep going that same direction 4 more times. It's a really simple arm circle. But let this also twist your thoracic spine or your chest, your upper spine. I'm just going to move this towel because I keep rolling on and off of it. So again, your head can stay looking in the same direction or let your eyes follow where your arm is moving. Just going to move that. One more for me in this first direction. And then switch other way. So we're doing this pre-Pilates to get a little bit of motion through the upper spine, because the first thing that we do in the classical Pilates sequence is called the 100, and it requires a little bit of mobility in that part of the spine. So like everything kind of from the rib cage up. Last time, circle the arm in one direction. Then nothing too fancy, switch to the other side. You can roll onto your other side if you want. I'm just gonna switch to side 2 so that I don't have my back to you. But lay on your side and let the top arm circle and open. Doesn't have to be the most sensation you've ever felt in life, but just something to kindly wake up more parts of you. Which is a good metaphor for what many of us might be experiencing right now. No assumptions, but maybe a little bit of awakening things that might have been dormant or that you are unaware of. Use this movement practice as a way to cultivate being in the spaces that might feel somewhat different, and go the other way. Big circles. Letting your arm move your torso around. Just gonna slightly use my arm circle to turn up the tunes. One more. So Pilates is the sequence that will follow. It's more or less the traditional sequence. I didn't make it up, but I love it and we'll deliver it. yourself make your way onto your back. I'm just switching around again so that I don't have my back to you. Rest your arms beside your body. Have the towel close by for a little bit later. Arms reach long. Have the palms face down, breathe in. On an exhale, curl up head, neck, and shoulders and slide your hands forward as if you could touch your heels, and inhale, lower back down. Slight nod of chin to chest, nothing crazy, and lift your head, and then lower back down. You can imagine kind of like a slinky action of as you lift, you're magnetizing your lowest ribs towards the front of the hip bones and keeping a bit of that even as you lower back down. Last one, curl up head, neck, and shoulders and pause. Now lift your arms up like about, half a foot higher than your torso. Begin to pump your arms. This is called the 100. Inhale and exhale. It doesn't have to be to the music, but it's kind of fun that way. I don't know if Joe Gale's still here. She was here a second ago. But I know she's into this song too. So it's as if you're doing one of those like gopher games. What's that called? Whack-a-mole. Pumping the arms and furiously trying to whack it. I took a class with Sonia J. Price, and she described this movement of the 100 as like you're on fire and you're fanning the body, fanning the flames. Inhale and exhale. Keep reaching fingers forward, and that should start to wake up your lats, side of body. Just one more set like this, so feet are on the floor, as you can see. And lower back down, head, neck, and shoulders. If any tension builds up through your neck, just take a second, maybe turn your head side to side. So we build endurance so that eventually holding your head up doesn't feel super stressful. Lift one leg into knee above the hip, hold it there, float your second leg up. Press your heels into each other. Upper body stays down for now. Press both legs forward to 45 degrees, then bend knees back in. Press your feet across the room and rebend in. 3 more times. Glide out and bend in. As your legs press away, keep your tail and your rib cage anchored to the floor. So your lower back doesn't have to be pressing down. There might be a bit of a space there. That's okay. Last one, press out. Rebend knees. Hold them bent. Curl up head and neck. Look towards the belly button, then pump your arms again. So arms are a little higher than your torso, and the pumps are pretty big. At any point, you can go back to the variation we did before with your feet on the ground, or feel free to lower your head down and find the movement of your arms, but try to keep your torso kind of still. I find this to be quite hard, actually, with my head down. Option again, reach the legs long. We got 3 more sets. Inhale. And long exhale. So it's called 100 because these arm pumps, you're supposed to do about 100 of them. I can't count very high, so let's do 1 more set. Breathing in and breathing out. Bend your knees, rock your way up towards seated. Hello. We'll start with a roll back before we go into the full roll up. So separate your legs a little bit. Reach your arms forward like there's something you love in front of you. Try to keep this length up, but then hug backward through the back of the body. Sorry, I had to burp. Take 2 breaths here. And keep finding again that sense of height, even though you're kind of hugging backward. So that you're not slumping back, but there's a sense of lift. From there, stack back up to tall. We'll do that 2 more times. Lengthen, breathe in. As you exhale, hug backward, like a capital letter C. But I think this would be kind of a backward C. Stack back up. Do that again. So think pelvis leading the way. Send your tailbone forward toward your heels. And this time, stay. Lengthen again, up and forward, but roll back. Reluctantly melt your spine towards the ground. Once you're there, you can keep your knees bent or straighten them. I'm gonna keep mine bent for a moment. Lift the head over the chest, curl up and forward. Ooh, see how I got stuck? I'm just gonna make my way through that and then do that again to start to mobilize a bit more. Ideally, we want the whole spine to be able to move fluidly, but sometimes that can take literally years. So give yourself some patience. Don't think that it's just gonna be like the Pilates, how everything just moves. It's a constant practice. And it's kind of great that it takes a bit to build towards. And the road there isn't always straight. So I'm going to show you one other option. You can keep going as you are, or press your legs together, reach the toes long. You'll notice I put the towel behind me. Roughly, I'd like it to be around my lower back. Yeah, I'm going to have to adjust it. So lay down into the mat, and if you've got the towel, take it right under the small of your back. That might help you to roll through that part of your spine. Lift the fingers towards the ceiling, let the shoulders move apart from each other, but keep them out of your ears. Lift the head up, look towards the abdominals, roll forward. See, that made it a little easier for me to round through the part of my back that doesn't necessarily touch the floor because of the shape of my hips. Which is not to say that's wrong, but this is to help me find some space opening through the lower back so that I can access more of the front of the core muscles. I say front of the core because it's more than just like your quote-unquote rectus abdominals, or what some people call like the six-pack muscles. We're not doing any of this crap for some superficial reason, but instead, hopefully, to feel more flexible, more mobile, and stronger. So you can show up in different aspects of your life. 3 more. Nodding forward, curling, really stretching and rounding over the legs, and rolling back bone by bone, melting each joint of the spine towards the floor bit by bit. Last one to the floor, roll down. Stay on the ground. If you had the towel there, just move it off to the side. So this is one leg circle, single leg circle. Straighten both legs, press them towards each other. They don't need to be touching, but towards each other. Both legs long, arms long beside your body, or to a slight A-frame shape. Bend your right knee in towards your chest, and hold it there, just like at tabletop height. Anchor the back of your hips. Make sure that you haven't lifted or wiggled one hip higher than the other. Keep the left leg really still on the mat. Try to press back of left thigh down. And right knee crosses a little over towards your left. Send your thigh bone forward and then out to the right, back towards your nose and where it started. So that's the circle. As if you had a laser beam on the tip of the knee, circle in that first direction. Across, around, and back up. Across, around, and back up. Feel that the back of your rib cage is grounded into the floor. Again, without anything like too aggressive. Either keep your knee bent or straighten it. Go the same direction again 3 more times. We're doing several of these. As your leg reaches across and around, imagine doing it from the back of your rib cage. And then switch directions. Leg can still be bent or it's straight. And concentrate on the left leg staying really still. Woo! 3 more. Slight turnout in the thigh bone. How does that make you feel? Last one, hold the leg up and bend your knee, give yourself a little stretch. Hug the hands to the fronts of the shins. 1 breath. And then switch. Legs together first so you can feel centered. Then bend your left knee in, just so that the legs aren't off to the side. So, right leg, long and straight, flex your foot, pull the toes back towards your face. Then send the leg a little across your body, like a pendulum, around and up. Across, around and up. Again, feel the back of the ribs soft into the floor, and feel that you're moving the leg from your center. So it's not so much a leg movement, but a core stabilization opportunity. Keep the leg bent or straighten it out, same direction. 3. Try to stay calm, don't make those crazy, intense noises I just made. Unless you like it, and then go the other way. Woo. So there's an option for everything here, and you don't need to replicate the same range of motion or make your practice look the same as someone else's, but instead notice the way it makes you feel. As a bad pun. Okay, hold, bend your knee, give yourself a little stretch, hug the shin. Ow! Bend your second knee in, hold it back to the thighs, rock your way up to seated. Okay, so move a bit forward on the mat for rolling like a ball. Place your hands beside you, lift your seat, and move forward to front of mat. Hands either to backs of legs or fronts of shins. Lift yourself, then round forward. So it's like you're trying to press the chest towards your outer knee. And in that ball shape. Just tip slightly back until your heels lift, but try to keep them pretty close towards you. Again, you can hold the backs of the legs. Rock back, rock up. Rolling like a ball. Rock back and rock up. And just rock to like the first tip of your shoulder blade that you can feel, so that you're not rolling back onto your head or your neck or anything, but you're actually trying to roll as little as you can. Like, make the smallest roll back it up. That's a bit more challenging, especially if you're trying to stay compact. 3 more. And don't be frustrated. I think like the first 4 months I did this, it was really frustrating, to be honest. Last one, hold at the top, try to find your balance. Feet to the floor, hands to the floor, lift your seat, move it back, and straighten the legs out. So try to sit as tall as you can, knowing that for some of us that will feel quite challenging. Bend your right knee in. I don't have to mirror. Bend your right knee in. Hold the front of the shin. Take your right hand by the ankle, left hand by the inner knee. So this is our prep and transition for single leg stretch. Press your shin a bit into your hand and keep reaching your left straight leg forward. As you're reaching that leg forward, begin to round back until you're like just rolled up tips of shoulder blades barely touching the mat. So this is our single leg stretch. This left leg is pressing actively away from you, like you could push the wall away. Then switch. Other knee bends in, the right leg straightens out, and try to press your foot forward and away, so it's not like a soggy noodle. Then pick it up. Switch, switch. Bend knee in, bend knee in. This becomes stressful for your neck at any point. Just hold your head. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Give yourself time to adapt. Patience. It's a virtue. 4 more. Bend. Bend last 2. It's double leg stretch. So hold your left knee in. Bend your right knee in. Both legs same time. Reach them forward. Press them away. Then bend knees in. Both legs press forward and knees bend. Some people teach this feet the same height as the shins. That might work for you. Press out, bend in. If that's going well, add the arms. Reach them back behind, then circle the arms around and bend the knees in. Arms reach back, legs press forward, circle around and bend knees in. Again, option to hold your head if it's feeling stressful. Try to have the eyes towards the belly button. That helps you connect a bit more to the core, also lovingly known as your powerhouse. 1 more, reach out. Bend the knees in, hold here, lower your head. Big breath in. Sigh if you need it. Woo-wee! Okay, so lower both feet to the floor, interlude before single straight leg stretch. Lift your right leg up. Hold behind the back of the thigh. Use your hands to pull the thigh a bit towards you. And just bend and straighten your right leg a few times. If you've done tree on the reformer, kind of like that. Trying to keep the thigh pretty close and then just lengthening and bending. Next time the leg is towards straight, doesn't have to be straight, but keep it that way. And flex and point at your ankle or your foot. Flex, toes pull towards the shin and press away. 2 more, flex and stretch. Last one, flex and hold. Really try to pull the toes towards your shin. Now press your thigh into your hand a bit. So you're trying to press the thigh away from you slightly. Use your strong arms to resist that and pull the thigh towards as you press it away. It's a 2-way stretch. You're like peeing up. You probably, maybe some of you have done it before. 1 more breath. Okay, we'll just switch and do the other side so I don't forget. Hold the back of your left leg. Make sure both sides of the butt are on the floor. 3 times, straighten and bend your left leg. And I notice funny things on this side for me. Like the leg, it's a different leg, and that's okay. Hold the next time it's towards straight, then flex and point your ankle. Toes pull towards, toes move away, towards, away. 1 more. Towards, hold the foot flex, like foot could touch the ceiling. Straighten the leg a little more, and then press the back of the thigh into your hands. Resist that with your strong arms. Soften your jaw, your teeth, and breathe. Woo-hoo. So hopefully this is gonna open up the backs of the legs a bit so that when we get into single straight leg stretch, it's not just like a distraction of, oh my God, my hamstrings are so tight, I hope. So lift your second leg up, then crawl your hands up the legs, nod the chin towards the chest, lift your head and chest up. Grab the right ankle with both hands, stretch your left leg forward. Doesn't have to go low. Oops, I just noticed my butt's off the ground, so try to anchor your tailbone. Then switch, other side. Lengthen and stretch. If this is like not happening, keep the knees a little bent, that's okay. Hold behind the leg. But concentrate on sending thigh bone away so that you really try to connect the legs into, again, the powerhouse, your core. 4 more. Looking towards the belly button so that your head's in an okay position. End on your left side and hold. Pull the second leg up as well. Lower down head, neck, and shoulders. So take your hands underneath of your tailbone. Just make a little diamond with your palms facing the floor and have your hips right on top of that diamond. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, feel the back of your rib cage heavy into the ground. And no matter what, try to keep that little bit of anchored point there. Reach both legs forward and then lift them back up. They don't have to go super low, but reach out through the thigh and then float back up. And this idea of stretching, scraping the toes on the ceiling. It's like what one of my teachers, Natalia, would always direct this as, stretching legs long and out, scraping the ceiling. One more time, reach across and bend back in. So you might stay with that variation. If that's going well, you want to try something different. Hands behind the head, curl up head, neck, and shoulders. And it's the same thing just with a curl. So lowering legs down, upper body stays the same as legs lift back up. Inhale, legs lower. Exhale, legs rise. 2 more. Press the legs tightly into each other. That might help to find a little bit more of the core connection. Hold this one, bend both knees. Crisscross. So twist towards your right. Reach the left leg forward just like you did already in single leg stretch. And really try to turn your chest as if your elbow could reach the back corner of your mat. And switch and go to the other side. We'll hold the first one just for a breath to establish the movement. And then pick it up a little. To the right and to the left. Just flow with your breath. Don't worry too much about the music or anything else or how fast I'm going. But connect to how this movement feels for you. 3 more. And on the left side, tuck both knees in. Woo! Rock your way up to seated or roll up. If you love a roll up, please do it. At this point, there's a seated posture. I didn't cue this, but if you want, move to a chair or find something to sit on if sitting's like not the most comfortable position for you. Separate your legs wider than your mat. If you're sitting on a couch, just have the knees wide. Your knees will be bent, that's okay. We'll concentrate on the spinal movement. Arms stretch forward, sit tall, stack your spine. Round forward, nod the chin towards the chest, and articulate off of an invisible wall behind you. Stay in this forward folded shape, then round back up bone by bone. So if you were on the floor, it's like same idea as your roll up, but we just have a different relationship to gravity here. Going from seated and curling in towards yourself. Then using your center to restack back up, one bone at a time. 3 more. You can go at your own pace. Ground through the back of hips and roll back up. Last one. If the legs are straight on the floor, ground the back of the thigh bone into the earth, round forward, and roll back up, bone by bone by bone. Once you're seated, if you've got a chair or something, move it off to the side, or if you're on your couch, come back. So you'll move the hips forward towards front of mat. We'll work towards an open leg rocker. Slide the arms in between the legs, hold on to the fronts of your shins, or like by your ankles. Then lift your chest. Really try to stay lifted, but find that scoop backward through the abdominals, sort of like an imprint or your rollback, and float your legs up just so that they hover. See if you could bring the shins parallel with the sky, and your legs are separated for this one. So it's a little different than rolling like a ball in that sense. Try to keep the lift of the head, stretch one leg toward long, doesn't have to get straight, and rebend. Same thing other side. Leg goes long and rebends in. As one leg straightens, you try not to change anything else about the shape. That's the challenge. Last time on the other side, straightening and bending. and stay here, or straighten both legs. So option to do open leg rocker with both legs long, or keep your knees bent, but have the arms stay stiff. Look towards the belly button, rock back, inhale, rock up and balance, exhale. Woo, I missed the first one. That's okay. There's opportunity to try again. And it's okay to make some mistakes. Things might be a little bit messy once in a while, but can we learn to move beyond that and not just get frozen when it gets messy, but keep on rocking? That might be a metaphor. I'll leave that with you. 3 more. Like, how can our practice strengthen the ability to respond and like get beyond just muscles and things being flexible? Last one, fold at the top. Bring the legs together, lower your feet. Slide yourself back just so you're towards the middle of the mat again. We'll roll down towards the back. Articulate your way down, bone by bone. Just notice how that feels. It's corkscrew time. Arms lower down. Anchor the back of the rib cage again. Tailbone is heavy. Bend your knees to float them both into tabletop. Press legs tight together. Arms, they're doing a chest expansion on the floor. With your legs pressing together, tip your knees towards your right. So your left butt cheek might lift a little bit. And come back through center and do the same thing other way. And back through center. So we're breaking this down, start with a little tick-tock. As your knees go right, keep left ribs heavy, center. As you go left, keep right ribs heavy. Exhale back through center. 4 more alternating. Feel free to soften your eyes and go inward. Keep alternating. 1 hip lifts, knees sway a little, and center. Again, legs glued together. 1 more each side. Breathe. And now rather than the tick-tock, imagine there's a laser beam at the end of the knees and circle. So you'll go over towards your right, a ground forward back to the left and up. And reverse, other way. I'm being naughty these first couple, but try to keep the ribs fairly soft, which will access more of the muscles that stabilize you in your core. And then either keep going with your legs bent. Feel free to straighten your legs if that's how you usually practice corkscrew, or if you're like, I'm willing to give it a shot, then give it a shot. Again, once you pick a thing, you don't have to stick with it. It's okay to change your mind. 1 more the other way. Lift your legs, take a breath, bend both knees, hug the shins, relax the space. Rock your way up or roll up if you prefer that. It's saw time. If you want your seat, grab your seat, sit up on it, or go to your couch. Legs go a little wider than the mat again. Hard flex your feet, pulling the toes towards your shins. Reach your arms out wide like a helicopter. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale, twist to your right side. Keep breathing out as you round forward. Reach the pinky finger past the pinky toe. And roll yourself back up and go the other way. Use the exhalation to twist and wring out the lungs. Inhale to stack back up and center, then saw the other way. So the arm movement here is really helpful to get this wring out action of your rib spine, especially if you keep this idea of reaching out so that you're never really like shrinking or coiling into yourself. Both hips are heavy into the ground, and as you twist one way, feel that one heel doesn't slide further than the other. Again, real specific. Woohoo! 1 more to the left. Come back up through center, reach both arms forward, cross your shins, ground your hands to the mat, and slide your knees back to tabletop, hands and knees. Just take a couple wiggles or cat-cow, anything you want here. First time we've really been in this position today. Notice how it feels after all that spinal movement so far. Eventually make your way towards back to table and stay there. Tap your toes, lift your knees. Tabletop hover. This is not part of the classical sequence, but I find it really useful here. Spread your fingers well. Ground through your thumbs is 2. 2 more breaths. Spread the shoulders well. Take one more breath where you're at. Lengthen your legs to step back to a plank. 2 breaths. Use everything you've done so far to support this shape. Heels are right over top of the toes. 1 more breath. Exhale. Try not to move the knees in, just lower them down below where they are. So modified plank position. Reach long through crown of head. Bend your elbows and straighten them. It's a push-up. Bending, pressing back up. So you can keep it modified like this. Feel free to lengthen the legs if that's your thing. The elbows are kind of going back, but a bit out to the sides. So not glued into your body, not like a total quote-unquote tricep push-up. Something in between that and wide. 4 more times. Everything moving in one motion. Last 2. Final one, lower down and stay down on top of your toes. Legs about sitting bones distance apart. Now we back bend. Hover your hands off of the mat a little bit. Open up through your chest by engaging through your upper back muscles. Lift your collarbones, open the chest, peel up into a little back bend. It's like the first curls that we started with when we were on our backs, but the exact reverse position. You're just peeling a bit forward and up. Keep that. Ground your hands down onto the mat. Use your hands to press up, not too high, but a little bit higher, so you can challenge your range of motion. Try to keep that. Keep reaching out through the toes, but now hover your hands and lower everything back down. So you should feel this in upper back, not so much the lower back. If you feel lower back at all, try to anchor your pubic symphysis, your pubic bones down a little more. Keep them down, lift the hands, lift the chest. Back bend. Keep the back bend, press your palms down, challenge your range, lift up slightly higher, hold it, hands lift, and everything lower. 1 more back bend, lift the hands, widen your collarbones. Peel chest forward and up, feel the upper back do this. Ground your palms, maybe slightly higher, you lift. Keep that, lift the hands, and lower down. Ground into your hands, knees widen, sit back to child's pose. Just 1 breath here, not too long. And moving back forward, I'm gonna take a towel underneath of my pelvis because my hip flexors are kind of tight. If yours are too, take a towel under your pelvis if you've never done this before, or a blanket. We're doing hamstring curls, but I find this makes it a little bit more efficient. Pile your hands, rest your forehead down into your hands. So upper body is kind of like, it's there, it's humming, but it's not tense. Feel the belly button like pull in towards your center. That's not a superficial thing, it's more of like a hug. Like it's somewhat, I don't want to say bracing, but kind of, I said it, I guess bracing a bit there. Gently, gentle hug. Keep that. Try to lift your thighs and keep the feet down. So just lift your thighs up. Mine barely moves. Bend your right heel in towards you. Stretch out. Left heel, bend in toward you. And lengthen out. Keep alternating. Pull in, stretch. Other side. Bend, lengthen. And if you don't feel too much, feel free to keep it slower. And imagine that you're moving your leg through something kind of thick and viscous. To really access your hamstrings, the back of your thigh, try to keep the knee somewhat floated off of the floor, or the feeling of it being floated off of the floor, even if it's literally still touching. I find that helps me to get more into the back of my legs. Bend in and stretch out. So there's a little double kick. Bounce, stretch. Other side, in, out. 4 more alternating. Continue to reach tailbone long. Soften jaw. Last one on the left side. Stretch both legs long. Lift your chest and your face forward and up. Little back bend. And lower back down. Ground your hands beside your low ribs. Tuck toes under. Either straight legs or knees down. Press up to plank. Do what you need to. We all meet in plank in the end. Hold in plank. Spread your fingers well. Lots of energy from head to foot. Try the hamstring curl here. You're like, what? Bend one heel in, stretch long, other heel, bend, and stretch, alternating. In, long. And then the trick here is to try not to let the thigh drop to the ground when your knee's bending. So try to keep it level with the other leg. That's it. 3. Sometimes noises help. If that helps you too, do it. Last one. Hold. Full breath in and out. And then with the leg straight, try to lower down everything all at once. Double leg kick. So we're going to not do it the traditional way. Just know that for context if you try it again in a different class. Lower your head, make a pile with your hands, and have your legs as long as the mat and out as wide as your mat. Slight turnout. Bend both heels in towards your glutes, so they'll come in towards each other. Have that millisecond where the heels touch, and with them together, try to pull your heels towards your tailbone. Remember, hug the abdominal wall up into you, and then we stretch back out. Lengthen out, bend in, stretch long, bend in. And that's like kind of fast. I might change my mind. 4 more times like this first. Out, in. 3, we're gonna go slower for precision. And 2, last one. So slow it in, down in half. Bend in, together, stretch long and apart. Again, still a little turnout. Heels bend, they might touch and stretch back out. 2 more. Hopefully the back of your legs are like, hello. This last one, hold the heels towards your butt, flex your feet, lift and lower thigh, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit lift, a little bit lower. And I'm still anchoring the pubic bones down into my towel. 4, so it's not that big of a movement. 3, no low back, just butt, please. Last one, hold the heels lifted, 2 breaths. Woo. Straighten both legs out, give your hips a little shake, a wiggle, whatever you need. Okay, plank pose. Hands beside you, top toes under. Give it everything you got and press up into plank. And since you already did that, try the way down again. Bend your elbows to push up. Press back up. You can keep your legs straight. You can lower your knees down. You can bring them into tabletop, support yourself. But find something that works for you and then pick up tempo. Bend, press. Bend, press. This is not part of the classical sequence, but we're gonna be okay. 4 more. Uh-oh. Once it starts to get kind of noodly, I'm gonna lower my knees. Last 2. Final one, we'll meet in plank. So once you're in modified, tuck toes, straighten legs. Full breath. From here, articulate your way up and back towards an elephant shape. Hold your elephant, just move your towel out of the way if it's on your mat. We'll do an elephant walk. So walk right foot, left hand a little forward, then left foot, right hand a little forward. Again, towards the top of your mat with long, stiff legs. They go backwards. 4, spine is rounded like angry cat, head is dropped. Look towards your thigh bones or your belly button. Walk forward for 4, 3. I think they call these bear walks in some other movement, then walk backwards. 3, so opposite hand and foot. If this is like, what are you talking about, then just bend your knees and crawl like this instead, like a tabletop. 3 rather than things straight. 1 more time, forward and back. I hope you're a little warm. Last time backwards. Make your way to the top of the mat. Stay at the top of the mat. Full breath in and out. Okay, lower your knees down. Walk your hands in towards you. Roll up your spine. Thigh stretch. Keep toes tucked under for this first one. Arms reach forward. Hinge back. Keeping your spine like stiff, like it's calcified. And then back up. We don't want it that way, but imagine. Reach back. Like you're trying to touch back of thigh to back of lower leg. And back up. And you're doing, wow, I just thought about this. You're doing your leg kick that you just did, but you're bringing the other part to the other part. So rather than bringing your heel to your butt, like you did when we were on our stomachs, now you're trying to bring your butt towards your heels. And no back bend, so just hinge straight backwards. Last one. Find a hinge you can sustain. Hug in through the inner legs and hold. Zip up, pubic bone to rib cage. 1 more breath. They call it thigh stretch for a reason. Oh my goodness. Stack back up. I'm just gonna turn a bit to the side. You might not need to. Lower your right hand down, kick the left leg out. In that shape, leg kicks forward and back. Try to keep this thigh pressing forward Try not to sit back, but towards the heel. 2 more. Forward and back. And it's tricky for the balance, so it's okay to like not be perfect. Leg comes back in line with hand, head, and foot. Keep it there. Lift and lower right here. Up, down, lift, lower. So technically this thing side kick shows up in the advanced. You're advanced now. 4, 3 more, which means it's like kind of tricky. 2. Last one, hold the leg lifted, draw little circles around. Whatever direction you started is fantastic. Then go the other way. Remember, your standing leg is important, so try not to slump back. Roughly keep your hip over top of your knee. 1 more. Here's the fun part. Transition by bending your top leg, get lighter on your bottom fingertips, reach both arms long, and like surf a little bit back up to balance. Embrace wiggles. Ready? Switch it! Other side. 5, press slightly forward. This leg in line to start, then forward and back. Kick leg forward, sweep leg back. Okay, soft ribs, and sweep back. 2 more. Lengthen through top of head, last time. Reach forward and back. Leg comes back in line with the rest of the body. Reach out through head and toe, then lower and lift. Down, up, low, high. Keep engaging the left supporting glute. Oh, my whole body's shaking like a leaf. Fun! I lost count. Let's call this 3, 2, last one, hold, draw circles. Breathe. Reverse. Oh. Bend top knee, reach top arm up, lighten up on bottom fingers. Balance, be okay with surfing a bit. That's not a move, but it just happened. Come on back up. Turn to face front of mat, hands down. Tuck toes under, lift your hips and your knees. Make your way towards a downward facing dog. Imagine an upside down V. Relax your head. If you need to sigh or anything else, please do it. One more breath as you are. So we added side kicks. We did things a little bit out of order, but we got in a lot of good motion here. Just walk your hands and your feet towards each other. Keep a softness behind your knees. Relax your head. Arms totally melty. Take your time to roll up through the spine, 1 vertebra at a time. It's like a rewind. Have a roll up or roll down. Once you're at the top, you can lift your arms overhead. Clasp your hands, press your palms up skyward. Keep both feet grounded. Gentle side bend over towards your left side. Anchor right foot. Draw back up through center. Other way, simple side stretch. Nice work, everybody. Anchor through left foot and center yourself. Reach up tall, breathe in. Exhale, relax your arms down. Soften through your fingertips. And you are all done Pilates for today. We got in some good stuff, all the motions, up, down, side to side, etc. So if you are watching this in present time, hi, I will add a link in my bio. There's a thing in the story of if you feel moved to contribute, please donate to the link in, not the link, but the story in my bio. There's some folks that are down at Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto today and for the foreseeable future, and they need some stuff to support. So Afro and Indigenous Rising is the group, and I'll try to rebuild a link tree so it makes more sense in my actual profile. Thank you. Stay malleable in all the ways. Oh, Lindsay Barton, you gotta come back and do it later. I'm gonna save it to the story. Hopefully it won't mess up like it did last time. Yeah, Megan! Thank you so much for doing it. Montreal. Thought you were gonna take the weekend off. I thought that was the new thing that Element Studio's doing. Not taking the weekend off. Thanks, Terry. Glad that you were here too. Yeah, and Alyssa, this is perfect where you can come back and do this tomorrow, or whenever. It's gonna be on the profile. Do it every day if you want. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Oh, Karen, thanks for the great workout. You are so welcome.